Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too.
It's going to be fun. So if you've watched our channel or looked at us on Facebook, you know me as Dallisa. I'm the CEO of Spirit and Spark. I'm a 5th generation psychic medium. And I get to work out of my really cute location in Las Vegas. But what's really cool is Rebeca Ahmed is here with me today, joining me live on Facebook and later on YouTube. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was so exciting to come to Vegas and then be able to partner with you. And, I started the business after I left. So it's pretty cool to bring it full circle and be here today. So thank you.
Yeah. So she's lived in Las Vegas before. You live in Washington, D.C. now.
Yeah.
You started Turn It On after you moved to Washington, D.C.
I need a little turn on there, so.
But we used to work together.
Yeah, at the Cosmopolitan.
At the Cosmopolitan. I was the director of community relations, essentially. And tell them what you did at the Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, so I oversaw talent acquisition. So it was so amazing because I got to go back to Cosmopolitan this week and see all of the people that I hired. So I got to, see the CEO. I got to see the head of marketing, the head of sales, and just reconnect with everyone and tell them what I'm up to. And they said they see me kind of everywhere. And they're like, you're turning it on everywhere now you're in Vegas. And I said yes. And it was really, just kind of came again full circle.
Yeah, so it has to be rewarding to work in Las Vegas, leave Las Vegas, move to DC, start a company, now come back and have these connections that you've had all these years and revisit them in a different way. So
absolutely. Yes,
yeah,
exactly. And it's, some of them, when you go through corporate America, you just kind of go from job to job and you keep up with some, but not everyone. And it's a little different when you're an entrepreneur because you're like, oh my gosh, how can I provide services to you, or how can I help you out, or let me share this with you. So it's so different rather than, that grind every day. It's a very different grind, but it's
it is a grind.
Yes, it is a grind, but it's very rewarding, and it's amazing how it can touch hearts very differently.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we're going to cover a lot of different topics in the live video today. So we're going to have real talk on holidays, emotions that you might be experiencing during the holidays, how to maybe process that. We're going to talk about Rebecca's bullshit button. And if you don't like cuss words, this might not be the video for you.
Bullshit.
So just keep that in mind, that we're going to be hitting the button when we feel like we have to maybe call you out on something, or if the truth is not being heard, she's going to hit her button, so you'll know what she's doing with that. And we're gonna talk about being an entrepreneur and what it's like. I know there are people watching that either want to know what it's like to be a business owner, or they're thinking about starting a company, and we're going to do real talk on that, intentions for 2020, and talk about blocks around money and love and how you might be able to sort through that so that you can start 2020 off right.
Absolutely.
So we're going to cover a lot of stuff in today's video, and I know that you're used to watching these live videos and commenting with questions. You certainly can do that. We just ask that you give us a question today of maybe something you want, just life guidance or real talk about. Not so much a psychic question today. So ask something that if you're in a scenario, or you want to know how do I do this or how do I do that when it comes to your life, that would be a great question for today. So you can certainly do that, and we'll take those in a little bit. So Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Is coming up.
Oh my gosh.
And you were telling me before we went live you have 5 Thanksgivings.
Yes, that really is bullshit. Let me tell you. So, yes, Thanksgiving is, the holidays are a lot of drama. So my grandma just left town, and she ran off to Fort Lauderdale for 2 months to be away from the holidays because she said it's a little too fancy.
I kind of like her.
I kind of like it too. I almost went and visited her for Thanksgiving, but I decided I'll do Christmas there, and I'll come and face the family for Thanksgiving. So starting out with my Cuban family, who I absolutely love, the night before, we throw a turkey in a big cooler, and we dance around it and throw spices and the whole shebang. And I figured that will get me in good juju.
Yeah.
And then we're starting out with my stepdad for breakfast. So I'm hoping there's no turkey involved there. It's probably just mimosas. And then my families, I would say my dad, my mom, those who are speaking to each other. Mm-hmm. Then we've got my brother and his little one, Xavier, who I absolutely adore. We'll see them in the afternoon, and then we're ending at my girlfriend's Katie's because it'll just be nice and I can have good champagne and relax and they can just give me some love because I've made it through the day and had 5 Thanksgivings in 24 hours. So I'm sure if you have a stressful family, you're understanding and you're relating to this. I mean, there's a movie called 4 Christmases. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I got you beat. But it's really about setting that intention before you go in. So I could easily not go to all these Thanksgivings, and I think a lot of people will say, oh, I have to go to this Thanksgiving. I have to see this person. But then you go in and you're kind of bitchy and you're not really giving yourself and they're not really getting good time with you. So my recommendation is if you're going to commit to a Thanksgiving, really commit to it and say, how do I want to show up for this Thanksgiving? What do I want to give back? Do I want to lead with love? And if you're upset, don't go. It's not going to make you feel any better. It's not going to make them feel any better. It's just catabolic all around. So my recommendation is just really set that intention and say, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go and be my best self and lead with love. And if you don't need to go, then don't go. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Comment on the video and let us know if that resonates with you. So how many Thanksgivings are you going to? Do you feel like they're going to be drama filled? Are you looking forward to them? So just comment and let us know what Thanksgiving looks like for you this year. But yeah, I mean, I talk to my clients all the time about boundaries.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if you're not feeling it and there are things that you just don't align with you and it's not working, maybe go do something with friends or you don't have to create more drama around it.
Yeah, and it doesn't, I understand saying like, oh, they really want me there. Oh, I really want to be there. But if you're not present, you're not there. So if you're going to be there, show up how you really want to show up and you're giving and you're loving. And other than that, then, you don't need to go. Exactly.
So do you think that politics should be avoided on Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever? For family gatherings, are politics in or out?
Well, we live in the United States, so I would say out. I lived abroad in Madrid, and we were able to speak really respectfully about politics, and everyone had an opinion, and everyone was very up to date in current events. It's not so much the same in the United States, so I find politics to be more of an out.
Okay.
Especially if there's already tension in the house, like why throw that in there?
Mm-hmm.
And I live in DC, so politics are kind of in our face, and I would say in DC it's much more comfortable to speak about politics, and people are very respectful of difference of opinions. Mm-hmm. But if you already know someone doesn't agree with you, and you already know it's going to be kind of a soft spot, why jab?
Yeah.
Why do that?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's best to kind of just park that at the door, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, the holidays can be a really tricky time for people emotionally.
Yes.
So I tend to see people that are isolated, lonely, sad. Mm-hmm. They feel the effects sometimes of being single if they're not married, if they don't have a close family and friend community.
Or the effects of being married and feeling so alone next to someone. I think that's one of the most alone moments anyone can have, is be surrounded by people and feel so alone. So
that's a great point.
Yeah.
I often think about it because I have a lot of clients that are single that feel lonely. And I've never been married.
Okay, so I have.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've been married, and I was married for 7 years. 6 years was absolutely amazing. But on that 7th year, when we weren't connecting and we were no longer aligned and we weren't making love, I remember laying in bed and saying, don't you feel so alone that we're not connecting? We're right next to each other. And it's one of my clients actually, she was going through a separation with her husband, and that's kind of what kind of triggered her. She said, you know what, sleeping every single night next to someone that I'm no longer in love with, and they're no longer in love with me, this is more lonely than I'd ever be, actually physically being alone. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that so impactful because I've never thought about it from the married standpoint, because I haven't been in those shoes, but you make a great point. So for people that are going through the holidays and they're experiencing all of these emotions, maybe riding the wave of emotions, what do you suggest for them? Do you have any tips or things that they could do? I know that being around other people is helpful, so I always recommend come to a class, whether it's at Spirit and Spark or another place. Just be around people. I think if you're isolating, it's just you're going to keep isolating more. Yeah.
And there's so many opportunities to give back during the holidays. So I think of I was at the center this week just working in between meetings, and they're doing, a Thanksgiving holiday event, and you can serve turkey to those coming to the center. We went to the rescue mission every single, remember when we were at the Cosmopolitan. In DC, there are so many different events. So you can easily be surrounded by people and really amazing people and building community during the holidays, and you don't need to be with even someone you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's great to be with family, to be with friends, but I myself will make sure I go down and volunteer as well, just because that energy alone, to see like a family light up that can't afford a turkey. I mean, Tony Robbins, that's the start of his business. He said, it's the year that someone came and brought us a turkey, changed my life, and I will forever, be giving people turkeys and giving, this love out. And what an opportunity. So there's no reason to feel alone or be alone when you can be surrounded by so much love and community.
Right. So it's making the choice.
Yeah.
Because you might feel like, well, I'm just going to lock myself at home tonight and feel lonely. It's that moment where I feel like you got to make the choice differently. You got to do something differently. Break the feeling, break the energy up.
Break the energy up and accept the invitation. Accept every single one of these communities is asking for you, sending out invitations, saying, come help, come be with us, come, give us love, hugs. Accept that invitation. I mean, that's you. It's not to say you didn't get an invite, and you might not have gotten like a fancy invite in the mail, that you need to RSVP to. But they're sending it out every single place, on the radio, on television. You're hearing it from us now. Like, accept the invitation and that opportunity, because you have no idea whose life you can change, and it probably will change yours too.
Yeah, wasn't it Chandra Rhimes that did the book, Yes, or The Power of Yes or something? She told a story. I can't remember the name of the book exactly, but it was like a year that she said yes to everything.
Yeah. Well, being an entrepreneur, I've literally redefined failure. Every single day, failure is if I don't try something new. Not if I succeed in getting a client. Not if, I launched this new program exactly how I want to. But did I try something different every single day? And if I did, then that's success for that day. And that keeps me going every single day.
Yeah. So let's talk about entrepreneurship.
Woo! Is it wine o'clock?
Is it wine o'clock? I didn't bring you any wine. I am sorry. Okay. So we've both worked in hospitality in the corporate world. We both are now entrepreneurs. And I talk a lot about it, with people and on podcasts and stuff. It's like, somebody's got to be real about what the journey is like, because I think I actually had this when I was planning events, and I've done event production for a long time, and people would, they'd say to me, I really want to be an event planner. It just looks like so much fun. I'm like, yeah, you see what happens at the end. You don't see the journey of it. They see how sexy the job is, but not what it takes to get there. And so I see it the same way with entrepreneurship. Being a business owner, CEO is so sexy and attractive,
Yes.
I mean, not to everybody, but I'm overgeneralizing here.
Yeah.
But it's God, if you could go the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain.
Oh my goodness.
And see what really, what the day-to-day is.
Yeah.
So tell us, what has your experience been in being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so by the way, I love real quick, I saw the pop-up, it says, love speaking about politics, my Christmas list gifts get shorter. That's hilarious to me. Yeah. So yeah, if you want your Christmas gift list to get shorter, you can talk about politics all day long. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing that. I just had to call that out real fast.
Yes, that's so funny.
So, when I went to DC, I thought I would just jump back into corporate America. I oversaw Pinnacle Gaming sold to Penn and Boyd, and so it was a $2.8 billion acquisition, 17,000 team members. And I was like, let me take a minute to just kind of regroup. And when I thought about going through that, I was like, if I can go through that, and if I can lead that, I can do anything. Mm-hmm. And yes, that's true, but entrepreneurship is so different. So what I've done, is jumped into, being an executive coach when you're in an organization at that level, you get to just naturally be the executive coach for anyone director and above. And what I found is a really big passion for working with a lot of these C-suite women who are going through stuff, and they're powerhouses at work, but they've got shit at home that's going on. And how do they bring that into work? And what I found is they have a lot of similarities with their daughters, actually. They're powerhouses in school, so I work with a lot of high school girls, college girls, pre-med, law school girls, and they're very much like their moms. They're very driven, but then they have anxiety about something at home, whether it's right now because, they're young and it's all about this Instagram, image, oh, am I not beautiful enough right now? Am I not fitting into all of these groups and activities? Look what all these people are doing. And so it's just this comparison. But it led me to really launch Turn It On, because I was like, how can I turn these people's lives on? But it also really turned my life on into thinking, so differently about what do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? And you're right. Like at first, it's so exciting. You get the pictures done, and I got my business cards, and we start getting the website up, and then we had to start working the website.
And then we had to start working.
Yeah, exactly. Then we were like, oh, the website. I was like, I have no problem coaching. I have no problem speaking, but that damn website. Like, I finally got clarity. It was that Fabian Fredrickson's like last retreat. She's like, outsource what you can. And I was like, the first thing I'm outsourcing is the website. Like, I don't want to look at that WordPress one more time. Like, I've gotten good at it, but that's not my genius. And so I think that was a big piece of entrepreneurship is what is your genius and what can you focus on and what can you outsource out that's really not serving you, because it makes you exhausted. And as a new entrepreneur, I can say like that was a big learning lesson for me, because I was like, oh, I'm learning every day and I'm trying something, but that's not what I'm good at. You know what I mean? Like the back end stuff, the data analytics, those things are not my forte. So learn as you go, but also, use your resources.
Yeah, there's a book, I think it's called The 4-Hour Work Week.
Okay.
And it talks about outsourcing and how to do it in a way that makes sense and aligns with your company. So if anybody's interested in that model, it's called The 4-Hour Work Week.
Yeah, I really like the book, The One-Page Marketing, or the One-Page Marketing Plan, and then The One Thing. Both of those very similar in the sense, like, really focus on what you need, the one thing you need to get done each day, or the one thing you need to really accomplish, and then how can your marketing support that, but not to be bogged down. And they consistently said the same message, who's your target audience, are you resonating with them, and also if whatever's not your genius, what can you outsource, like as soon as you possibly can, so you can focus more on what you're really good at.
Yeah. Has there been, I don't think of things as like failures, even though at the time it can feel like a huge disappointment. But is there one thing you can kind of point to where you're like, man, I'm glad I learned that lesson? Because like I remember with another company I used to own, I scaled it too quickly. And I was in too many states doing too many things with too many people. And I wasn't really focusing in on doing any one thing really well.
Got it.
And so I always kind of like to ask entrepreneurs if there was like one thing that you can point to, and it's kind of a lesson for people of maybe avoid my mistake.
Yeah. So I'm also in commercial real estate, and that's starting that entire business. Like commercial real estate, you eat what you kill. So it's also starting a completely new business.
Of course.
And I first thought them as so separate. And this amazing guy, Ken Bibaraj, is on my team, and he's also a politician and in commercial real estate. And he blends the world so well. And he said, you are you. And one of the things I think entrepreneurs or anyone's told is you have to be this one thing, right? This one niche, this one box. If you go to my fucking house, you see paintings from all over the world. Sorry, I have the worst mouth. I'm not one person. I can be polished, I swear, in a corporate setting. I can be wild in another setting. I can be, focused on commercial real estate. I can focus on HR. There's so many things that people bring to the table. And even though it might be easier for someone to understand who you are with one message, you can start blending those worlds. And I feel like that was my big aha moment, because I was really separating the two. And then what I found is I have an opportunity to blend those. And then it's so much easier to say I don't work 2 jobs. This is the life I live and the life I lead, and I'm an entrepreneur. And whether I'm working on commercial real estate in the space and the buildings and how an organization's culture fits within a city, it's the same concept in your head. It's the same exact thing. Like, who are your tenants in your head? Are they paying rent? What's your culture? Who are you? What's your brand? It's all aligned. So I'm learning from that. But I would say, if anything, blending that, because you're one person, because it was exhausting doing the two very separate.
Yeah, be who you are.
Yeah.
Bring all of yourself to everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point.
And people want to know, they want to know, to be honest, a broker's a broker, but like, who are you and what can you bring to an organization and why would they hire you? And I have so many other things that I can bring and resonate, and I have this HR background. I work with so many women, and how do I propel the culture using commercial real estate? And now I can share that so fluidly.
Right.
Where before it was like, oh, hold on, I have to get into that hat,
Yeah, like I gotta switch mindsets or brains, or when you can just be all of you all at once.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been I would say my biggest learning lesson for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So as we think about 2020 and setting intentions, do you have something that you like to do that calls forward powerful intentions? I remember, this is so funny because 2019,
oh my gosh,
gone. And I remember standing in my apartment, and it was New Year's Eve going 2018 into 2019, and I wrote everything out. I'm letting this go, and this is staying behind, and ripping it up, and then writing a list for 2019. I tell you though, I woke up January 1st, 2019, and I could feel the energetic shift.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so I plan to do it again. I usually don't go out and do a bunch on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
I like to just do my intentions. But do you have anything that you like to do to get yourself ready, or tips for how to build that momentum and intentions going into a new year?
Yeah, this year will be really different. So last year I had just moved to DC right at the end of October. And if you personally know me, you know that my family went through quite a few hardships the last year. And we almost lost my brother, and he's doing really well now. But we were just going through a very, very tough time. And so when I moved to DC, and I was also, going through an M&A with a company, I said, instead of doing, just be. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do next, right? I thought I'd go into HR, but I said, just be. Be with the new city that you're in. Be with the people around you. Don't try, my natural sense is to just do and start going, but I said, you don't really know what you want to jump into next, so be with the universe, be with your thoughts, be with yourself. And so I did go to Tulum for New Year's. And January 1, I actually did this amazing tour at this animal sanctuary. You get to play with their baby monkeys, which are so cool. So if you can do that, especially when you're hungover, it's immediate, you feel amazing. But I think that's, it was funny because I think that really set the intention for the year, as I was playful and being and not thinking so much in my head about everything that I want to do. And it was in Tulum that I was talking about, coaching and this passion I have, and I didn't know what it was yet. I hadn't launched Turn It On. And I also said, I really enjoy commercial real estate. So my friends that were with me, Jen and Martin, Martin's a broker, and he said, why don't you come check out this hotel? They want me to represent it. You speak Spanish. You can, talk it out a little bit. And so it was, I've really found a passion. But I don't think, if I had been doing, I wouldn't have just, taken that opportunity to even go check something out that I've never done.
Yeah.
So this year, I think, because it's a little different, I have both businesses and I have set plans, but I still really want to just be for a moment and see what will the universe bring. And the things that I do know I want the universe to bring, I will share that. Mm-hmm. And I love doing, different boards and making sure I get to see everything. I'm very visual. But again, being present, every day is not promised. And so I really do believe, even if you're going to set intentions for the year, that you be in the moment and see what comes. Because I think a lot of times that's where the magic happens.
Right, because I think it's great that you set intentions and put it out to the universe. This is what I'm going for, right? But I also think there's beauty in what you were saying of leaving space.
Yeah.
Leaving space for the universe to deliver
Yeah.
your gifts, your abundance, your prosperity. If we're always trying to figure it out and line everything up, which I'm guilty of. I'm definitely a bad person in that regard, because I have so much going on that I really try to get everything organized, right? And I think to some degree that's good, and it's keeping me going. But but there needs to be, for these bigger dreams and goals, there needs to be space for the universe to co-create with you.
Absolutely. And I think of, so I graduated from the Landmark Forum, or the Curriculum for Living, and one of the things we're taught is you know what you know what you don't know, but you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And that's where coaches come in. We help you see what you don't even see. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a piece of that the universe is saying, you don't know. We have things up our sleeve all the time.
Yeah.
If you haven't ever had something thrown at you or you haven't been planning, I don't know how you're living, because that's life, right? Mm-hmm. You get curveballs all the time. And so we don't know that, and so we're leaving that space to say, okay, what do you got up your sleeve, and how can I respond to this?
Yeah, I agree. I think people tend to self-sabotage a lot. I think people watching this video will agree that that they tend to stand in their own way sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so as we leave the space for the universe to co-create with us, we also have to acknowledge where we're getting in our own way.
Oh, absolutely.
And so when it comes to things, I know a lot of people watching probably either have blocks around money or blocks around love or blocks around both.
Yeah.
I kind of find that when I have a client that has blocks around money, it usually has nothing to do with money. It has something to do with some emotion or some pattern or something they learned along the way, or they're not worthy enough, or they're not good enough, or they don't deserve success. So what are your thoughts on like why or how people block prosperity or money or abundance? Like, where do you find that?
Yeah, so I was just at the retreat with Fredrickson. I'm drawing a blank on, I just said her first name, but she talked a lot about this because I was surprised how many people have blocks around money about coming from religion.
Religion,
and
okay.
They've been a lot of people came up and said, you know, in my religion or throughout, you know, growing up and going to church, it was more praised to be poor and to give back. And the money was like this idea of Scrooge and, you know, someone who doesn't give. And I was kind of blown away by that just because I've always looked at money as a method to give back, a method to spend, a method to get what you want. It's just it's a currency, you know, it's just a form of communication. And so I never had seen that block. I've seen the self-worth block for sure, but that was kind of unique for me. But in terms of self-worth, I mean, you're right. It's not the actual money that's a concern. It's, am I worth this? Is what I'm doing worth this dollar? Or, you know, should I even think big? You know, some countries, like my ex-husband, he's from France. They say like you cap out at 100,000, and that's kind of like a theme. But what about thinking outside of that? Not to say 100,000 is a shit ton of money, but like, why think of just a cap? You know, why can't you limit create limitless opportunities? So I think, you know, it's getting more intimate with yourself and saying, you know, what am I worth? And if you don't know what you're worth, I mean, that's one of the things I really focus on, especially compensation negotiations. Women haven't been negotiating since, the 1950s. We don't have that much experience. And we also are looked at when we did have to work is to hold down the fort and take what you got, take that first job. I was at UNLV this week speaking with a lot of these different students, and the same thing, I was like, do not just take the first opportunity. Do your research. What is the market paying for the role that you're looking at? What is the job description? What are you bringing to the table? And this is the same for an entrepreneur. When you set your prices, you need to do research, right? And you just say, okay, how do I compare to this person? What are they making? How far along am I? What am I bringing to the table? You know, what does my audience look like? There's so many things about that, but after you get past that, like, money comes. Money's just, it comes easily.
I find it interesting that you brought up entrepreneurship and pricing and how much you charge, because I've seen it so many times where people will set an amount and then they block it because they don't think that they're worth it. Yeah, and I see it with people that overspend, that they just buy and buy and buy, and it's a form of self-sabotage because then they're broke and then they go into the spiral of feeling like they're broke and they don't have what they need and all that, and it's victimhood.
Yeah.
So money is funny.
It is funny. I have a really good girlfriend, and she says she's a financial advisor, and so she has her own business. And her husband laughs at her because she makes very good money, but she does a lot of that. So she'll spend, and he goes, and then as soon as you are getting low on money, you go hit the piñata, and you go get a bunch of clients, and then you spend again, and then you go hit the piñata again. And I was just laughing because I love that analogy. And she's like, oh, I have no problem going and hitting the piñata, but when I don't want to work, I don't work, and then I go back to work. And
oh my gosh.
I was like, okay, that's a different,
that would be too much like this for me. I don't think I would like that very much.
I know. Everyone has their own relationship with money, and
for sure. I think the goal is to just show people and paint the picture that money is more than just like this piece of paper.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much emotion and pattern and backstory as to why you spend the way that you do. But yeah.
I think, as Americans too, like if you look at our relationship with food, and I again think of when Benjamin first came, again, that's my ex-husband, when he first came from France, they don't have, actual commercials about food. So he's like, here the shrimp are flying and the fire's going and the pizza, the cheese is going. He's like, it makes you just always want food. And when we think about how we talk about money and look the Benjamins, and it's in our rap songs and it's on our music, and it's very much, even though you don't talk about money as much, it's very much in your face for different things. We have a different relationship with it, and we get a little weird with it. It's almost like the hoarder who's eating ice cream so much, because they're like, oh, I don't want anyone to know that I'm doing this. Someone has like a bad relationship and spends too much. So it's looking at all of your relationships kind of when it's in overindulgence. And what does that really mean?
Right. We were talking before we went live, and even the topic of sex and relationships. You go outside of the U.S. and you go to Europe, and those are, I mean, we're completely different
Very
than
different.
than how they talk about it and how open they are about it. So, yeah. So if you're being triggered by something, know that there's something going on inside of you that needs to be looked at or examined in order to really release the pattern and the belief. Okay, so blocks with love. And I mean, that to me is like this huge spectrum of why there's blocks with love. I tend to see a lot of it with my clientele where it's self-sabotage around what they want, or even they don't even know what they want, so they just attract stuff in.
Absolutely.
But I generally always find that people that are single, that are looking for love, that there's always the same person that they're in a relationship with in a different costume.
Absolutely.
And then once they break the pattern of why they've been attracting the same person, the same energy, then the weights get dropped and they go, oh, now I know what I'm looking for. And now I know why I had to heal that wound. And then they can actually move forward and obtain a loving, healthy, committed relationship. But I find until they learn that lesson, they just keep repeating it with different people.
Absolutely. I mean, when you ask someone to give you their desire list, a lot of people don't even have that.
Yeah.
They don't know what they desire. So how can you ask the universe or even ask another person to be, your loved one if you don't know what you want? So when I work with my clients, we first get real comfortable about who are you and what do you bring to the table and what do you love. And once you know who you are, it's very much like money though. Once you know your worth and you're very comfortable with that, you can bring in money. You can bring in love because you know that it's a gift. It's an added gift. It's not something you need to breathe. It's not this exhausting thing that you're putting on another person that they have to keep you happy or keep you feeling loved, because you already feel that. You already have that self, is it contentment, self-worth, and it's an addition to your life. It's not like your only thing in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Love and money are like the two sticky points.
Well, so I work with a lot of divorcees, and I might have a couple single clients, but a lot of divorcees. And so when you're coming out of that and you have a transition, you're like, how do I define myself and what do I want? And I'm kind of test a lot of cars for a while, before you really go shopping for the next car, the real good car, because you need to, you're learning yourself again, Do you want to be in a sporty car? Do you want, a convertible top? Whatever it is, but try a lot of things because you're learning who you are again.
Right.
And any person going through transition, you are looking to see who are you and how do you want to define yourself and really get intimate with yourself before you start bringing in someone else. Because then once you're comfortable, then it's so much fun. It's no longer this burden. It's no longer this relationship that you have to really work on so much. It's more of we really enjoy each other and we're not trying to change each other.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to be good with you because
Absolutely.
You are going to attract who you are. You're going to attract your mirror.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They say that even with when you look at your friends, you look at your circles, they're your mirrors. So who are you surrounding yourself by is very, very it's very telling of who are you and where are you putting out there. So if you've got a lot of negative people around you, most likely you've got some catabolic energy working around you too. So you're putting that out there, and the same with anabolic energy. And I it's so funny because some of my clients, when I tell them as soon as we get this desire list, as soon as you are comfortable with you, he's coming. Or she's coming. And I'm telling you, it will be fast. And my one client, she was like, absolutely not. And it was literally 3 weeks later, she's like, holy shit. And she just keeps, I know, and it's been 2 months, and she's like, I'm waiting for the ball to drop. And I'm like, stop doing that. Why are you waiting for the ball to drop? You sent your desire list out there. You're feeling good with yourself. He's here. Why do you want to push him away now when you've gotten everything you've asked for? And she's like, look, is it too good? And I'm like, no.
That's sabotage.
Yeah. Why look for that? Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I remember when I first met Benjamin, I was told by an ex, you will never meet a Frenchman because that's all you want is a Frenchman. And then it was a month later and I was like, oh God, I got a Frenchman. I put it out there. So it comes fast. I just tell everyone, it comes super fast. When you know what you want, it'll come right for you.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for.
Yep.
Yes. This has been so much fun. So as we said, Rebeca is the co-founder of Turn It On. If you want more information, the website is timetoturnIton.com. TimetoturnIton.com. All spelled out. So go on there. You mentioned you're going to be in LA for an event this coming week.
Yep, so I'm doing an event in LA on Monday. So it's going to be at the Shelby in Los Angeles. And so while Monday Night Football's on, if any ladies want to talk about their turn-ons and what turns them off, so we're going to have a lot of sexy time talk, come out to the patio. I've got the whole patio reserved for me, and it's going to be super fun. We're going to be working through a couple different workbooks on what turns you on and turns you off, and how you can really put your desires into action. So if you want more of those turn-ons, then we can kind of work through that. So
yeah, I love it. And then you also have a program that's starting in December for divorcees, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Specifically for those. So either if you're starting a separation, you're in the middle of a separation or divorce, or you just completely finalized it, or somewhere in between any of that. It's all about finding clarity and finding your new you. So the program's called Stella Got Her Groove Back. It's time to get yours. And my goal is that we just all go to like Jamaica at the end of this program and have a blast, and we all know exactly who we are, and we can get lit and laid and have a fun time. But I'm starting in December because I want to help like everyone who wants to join this program get through Holiday Mageddon is what I'm calling it. So get through
Holiday what?
Holiday Mageddon. You know,
Holiday Mageddon.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Like Chicago had the Stormageddon and all those Ice Mageddons when it was freezing. So we're going to get through Holiday Mageddon and go into the new year, really dig deep. I'm going to do a lot of work around energy. So I'm certified to do energy leadership assessments, and you can see how you're approaching situations in life through energy and how you can shift that. So really coming from a place of non-judgment and curiosity, rather than having judgment around you and building more catabolic energy. We want to release a lot of that, especially after you've gone through such a, even conscious uncoupling, you know, that's what I went through, and we're very close, but like there's still a lot of catabolic energy there. So we're going to work around that and really release a lot and get you flying. So it's going to be an awesome program. I'm really excited for all the ladies joining. And and if you're interested, you know, it's a free consultation. So reach out to me, Rebeca at timetoturnIton.com, or it's on the website, and I'll do a free 1 hour, just chat with you, see what you're looking for, and we want to make sure it really fits your needs.
Yeah, so I just enjoyed this so much.
I know, it's so fun.
We've come a long way from our corporate hospitality days, and
a long ways to go. You know,
a long ways to go.
Infancy stages. So
yeah, onward and upward, and thank you for spending time today. And again, it's timetoturnIton.com. And this is Rebeca, so her email address is Rebeca@timetoturnIton.com. And if you want more information about Spirit and Spark, it is spiritandspark.com, and you can find all of our social media handles on there, Instagram, and of course Facebook and YouTube. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers.
Woo,
so
that's exciting.
We're getting there, slowly but surely.
I'm just starting mine, but I'm excited. She's telling me all about it. Entrepreneurship. I was like, oh goodness, that'll be another day.
yeah, that's a whole other animal. But thank you, and to all of you out there watching, I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving and the upcoming holidays. I know we're here for you, we're rooting for you, and we're here to help you, so please don't do it alone. And we're sending you lots of love. Yay!
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go hit the button.
All right, sounds good. Bye.
I'm going to hit this button too.